Hi, I'm Bill Geissele of Geissele Automatics. Today I want to show you a video here of one of our new products here for 2015. It's one dear to my heart. I'm not sure if many of you know, but I got my start with triggers with National Match high power shooting. The first trigger I made was for service rifle shooting because I was a service rifle competitor at Camp Perry, and this was in 2004. And I haven't shot in a long time. Been busy running a business and starting a family here. But we've made a new product this year for the Camp Perry crowd, and I think it's another iteration on the grand journey of the AR-15 in America here. I'm going to speak to the high power crowd right here. If you're a tactical guy, you're not familiar with things, we're going to be using terminology and things like that you might not be familiar with. I'll try to explain myself. But as you guys know, for service rifle shooting, currently, just about everybody uses your standard A2 type upper receiver right here. For you tactical guys, this thing right here, this is where the research and development has been done for all those great rifles that you have. The free floating barrels, the good chambering, the fast twists, the high quality barrels, the tight tolerances, all those things have been developed at Camp Perry at National Match Shooting over the years by a lot of really talented men. Bill Wild, Frank White, John Hollinger, Gene Clark of the AMU. They have done a tremendous amount of work on the iterative improvement of the AR-15. What you can't see underneath here, you think, well, this isn't a free-floating barrel. This is your clamshells attached right to the barrel. Underneath here is a hidden free float tube. It's made out of steel. It attaches up here to the upper receiver. This sheet metal piece that the A2 clamshells go into is actually a fake piece. The clamshells go in here, but the barrel is actually free floating. You can hardly tell, but when you put your sling on and you tighten up your match sling, you're putting no force into this barrel. The front sight is put on with set screws, so it's adjustable rotationally, so you can get your zero exact with your iron sights right here, so it's right in the middle of your little veneer. You have a special National Match front sight, and the rear sight is this very precision rear sight with different threads per inch. This one has been pinned by White Oak Armament, John Hollinger, so it's extremely precise in going up and down and moving side to side, which is what you need when you're shooting at 600 yards. But this is what everybody uses these days. The problem is it doesn't look like what the troops are carrying. A2 has been replaced basically by the M4 carbine in the Army, which has a rail on it, and it's also been replaced in the United States Marine Corps by the M16A4, which has a quad rail on it. So when troops look at the guys of the AMU and the Marine Corps shooting team, there's not much of a connection here from this, which they're not that familiar with, to their duty gun. And that's where this guy comes in. This is my personal match gun right here that has been used now for a demo gun. And right here we have a free float rail. It's called the Mark 7. And this rail has been made especially for high power shooting. And I have one here, over here on the bench, that I'll show you all the different parts of. First off, you'll notice the two screws. These screws go through a very heavy duty barrel nut that's 2¼ inches long. It has a lot of surface area to keep this quad rail stiff. This is the rail right here. This rail weighs 3.6 pounds. The barrel nut looks like a standard Geissele barrel nut, 2¼ inches long, but it's made from chromoly steel and has a very heavy internal profile. You want weight with your National Match type guns. My gun here, this weighs 15 pounds. That's what this guy has. It has lead in the buttstock, has lead here. You want that weight in order to steady your gun, steady it in offhand so it doesn't move around during your offhand proportion, and also steadying it in positions where you're not as supported, like when you're in sitting. It also helps in the prone, also, especially at 600 yards where you're shooting heavier loads than what you normally shoot at the short range. So it has a Geissele barrel nut here, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on it. I'm going to have another video out here where I go into the Geissele rails and the superiority of our rail design over the other ones out on the market. But this is a very, very, very nice barrel nut that these two screws basically collapse the rail around. Has a very tight fit to it. So what happens is you have a beautiful fit, and as you can see this right here, how nice that fits in here, okay? When it grabs it, it's extremely stiff. Right here, we have, in this rail, where's my weight bar here? Weight bar is here. Here you go. This guy here doesn't look like much, rectangular bar, steel, what is it? It's into the rail down here, is secured by screws underneath. This adds weight to the system. It also adds stiffness to the rail. If you don't desire to have the weight bar can be cut here, and it can be secured by two screws up front. But what it does is, instead of having a big block here, an attachment point that you put your sling loop on, okay, it gets it to within a ½ inch of the point on the A2 forged front sight, and this is per the rules. This loop has to be within a ½ inch of the standard point, and this is actually within 1/8 of an inch of the standard point on it. It has this within the rules, stiffens up the rail, and you also can change your weight with this, and you don't have some giant thing that's clamped here where this is in a bad position. You also have these guys, lead weights. This is how we get the weight in this. Underneath the A2 clamshells that you saw on that other upper, there's actually lead weights on there. You can purchase weights that will slide underneath those clamshells. I use a lot of stick-on lead weights, but what this guy does is it slips in here. There you go. Clearance for your barrel, hugs the rail, and there's screws on the outside, 4 screws that go into steel inserts on the lead weight here. And this is how it's tightened up. You want to change your weight distribution, it's a simple matter to hacksaw off hunks of this guy, whether you want it in the front or the back, or you only want one weight very small in the front. You can change this around completely. So you can change your weight distribution of your rail with these lead weights. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's a quad rail. I don't have this nice smooth area underneath my A2 upper where I can put my shooting glove. This is actually pretty slippery right here. All right, my shooting glove has a piece of soft rubber that I've glued to my shooting glove in order to get grip on here. But now, according to the rules, you can now put rail covers on these. So right here, you have a very nice rail cover by Manta. It's nice, soft, grippy rubber. And as you can see on my personal gun right here, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Good for offhand, even though usually in offhand you're right here, but for prone and sitting, you now have a much more secure platform for your rifle. Much more secure. And through Geissele, we're going to be offering special laser marking for teams. As you can see, my name has been laser marked on this. And also on the other side, the state I'm from and the United States flag. So you'll be seeing these at Camp Perry on the military teams this year. Army and Marine Corps are both going to have these guys. And the United States Army is also going to be sporting this bad boy right here. This is the AR-10 SR-25 National Match Quad Rail. You can shoot a service rifle, 7.62 service rifle, and this guy has the same features as our regular Mark 7. It has the weight bar, your sling swivel right here, and you're able to take the lead weights that slide inside very easily, okay? And this guy is for your 7.62 rifles right here. We manufacture this, and you'll notice it doesn't have a full quad rail. That's because on these guns, per the rules, you don't need a full quad rail. On the 5.56 guns, you do. However, you'll notice underneath the Picatinny has not been finished with the grooves. Now you have a much more surface area for your glove to fit on here if you don't choose to use rail covers, and those rubber rail covers will fit on here also, but it's much more smoother for your shooting glove. So I think you'll be seeing these guys out there. White Oak Armament is right here in January is having a special. We are actually going to be giving away some of these rails through White Oak Armament. They're going to have a raffle, and after about 4 weeks of a raffle every week, they're going to be giving away one of their wonderful National Match uppers that's going to have these Mark 7s on. So give John Hollinger a call and his sister Jane, and if you need anything, he not only sells National Match parts, but he sells a lot of regular gun parts, upper receivers, lower parts kits, things like that. Has a selection of Geissele and ALG triggers, and you'll get a chance to win one of these Mark 7 rails by going to their website. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you at Camp Perry.